All right, welcome back to season 7 of our show, and it is the holiday time in full effect. We're frying up a beautiful chicken with a gorgeous lentil soup on the side. Let's show you how to get it done. So what you're gonna need for this dish is a fresh chicken. I got a 4.5 pound bird. I like this size. I don't go over 5 pounds because once you go over 5 pounds, they tend to get a little tough and you don't want old buzzards. So I'm gonna move this off to the side. We're gonna cut this up, and that's the first thing I always usually do when I have chicken on hand. Is I like to mess with all the poultry first. Now this chicken was so fresh, it still had the neck on. So first thing we're gonna do, just take your knife and just tap through. We're gonna slide off the neck, just like that. You need a nice sharp knife. This is a cheap knife, $12, but I keep it really sharp. I'm just gonna start with the breast. I'm gonna take it in the middle, and we're gonna just sew down the breast, just like that. Now we need to half this. So I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna cut it right down the spine, right in half. And then we got part of the neck here that's still hanging on. We're just gonna leave it for now. So now we have this halved up. Now it's time to get it in quarters. We're gonna take it between the leg and the breast, and we're just gonna slice through. Here's our leg. Just find your joints, not a lot of pressure, and you can just come right through with a tap. So there it is. I'm gonna put this onto the bench. Clean a little bit of fat up here. Now I am going to clean this chicken up, but I'm not going to do it right now. Here's your wing. Find your joint, go straight through, and your wing's off. That's it. And then you got this whole big breast. Now you could cut this breast up into parts, but I think I'm just going to leave this whole today. Again, here's the second one, the second half. I'm going to tuck in between the leg quarter and the breast, and I'm just going to tap right through the spine and then go through. Now I'm separated, and just find your joints. Clean up your fat. I'm gonna come back to this. And then here's the wing connected to the breast. I'm just gonna flip this around, find the joint, and then take my knife and come straight through. And just clean a little bit of that wing up. And that's it. So if you guys are buying chickens that are cut up already, a lot of times you'll see their parts. So when you're buying chicken parts, you're not getting the same part from the same bird. You can look at this chicken. This chicken looks so fresh. It's not bruised up. It's not banged up. And that's how you want to have your chickens. I'm going to cut this piece off right here. That's the backbone. I'm just going to drag through. And if you wanted to cut your breast, I start high. I'm going to take my knife, put an incision inside the breast, just like that. I'm going to work it right down to the bone, and then tap, and then go straight through. And now you separated the breast piece here. And now that I did that, I might as well do the other one. So I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to start here, a little incision straight through, go all the way down to the bone. And now I'm going to tap straight through. And now I have my breast separated. That's it. All right, so I'm gonna clean up here. All this I fried, by the way. I don't waste stuff like this. I'm gonna fry it up. Nice bony pieces. So I'm gonna start with a thigh. Now this is a free range chicken. It's nice and clean. It's under 5 pounds. Doesn't have a lot of fat, but I'm just gonna scrape all this fat out. Just like that. Keep my station nice and clean. And then look around and see if there's any more fat on here. I'm gonna take this little piece right here, this little lip, and I'm gonna cut that out. And the last thing you wanna do is get any kind of fat in your mouth, especially when you're fried fat underneath chicken skin. It's not a very good piece of fat to get a hold of. And that's it. So this chicken is basically fat-free, and for you guys that are buying the chickens in the bags, and they give you like 100 pieces in a bag for like 20 bucks, you might want to stop doing that, and you'll get a better quality chicken. You'll spend a little bit more, but believe me, the chicken's not frozen, freezer burned, and just dry. You'll get a good chicken if you buy it fresh and do it like I do. All right, I'm gonna get organized, we're gonna get cleaned up, and then we're gonna meet you back here to season these chickens up. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we got our chicken cut up, trimmed up, and now it's time to season it up. Let's show you how to get it done. So today we're using dry powdered seasoning. I got garlic powder here, onion powder, a touch of paprika in here, and just a little bit of oregano. That's the only spice that I'm using for this. And as a binder, we're using vinegar. That's right, you guys probably never heard of this, but vinegar is the acid for this dish. A lot of people might marinate this in something like buttermilk. I don't ever use buttermilk. It was never used in my family. I don't know why people use it, but buttermilk burns, especially if you're frying in a cast iron the way we're doing today. You might get away with the buttermilk using a deep fryer. Today we're not doing that. We're pan frying this in a very shallow amount of oil. So first thing we're gonna do is get on some of our seasoning. You want to be generous with the seasoning. It is fried chicken. And look at the color in there. That's from the paprika. We're going a little black pepper. I'm going to use a lot of the black pepper because the black pepper when you're frying, especially chicken, it really brings out the flavor in the chicken. If you were baking this, it'd be way too much. So hit it hard on the black pepper. And then we're going to come over with some salt. And hit it with a decent amount of salt. This is Diamond Crystal kosher salt. Here's our vinegar. So what I'm going to do is just take it and sprinkle it over the top. Just like that. Most of it on the tray. And what you want to do is get this wet so all the seasoning grab hold of it. So just like that. And now I'm going to turn over and then I'm going to repeat everything we just did. And just move it around on the tray. So just like that. Here's the seasonings. If you don't like these seasonings, make up your own. I mean, as long as they're powdered, you can't go wrong. So you can put whatever you want to put on here. Whatever your heart desires, throw it on there. Now, it won't be traditional fried chicken, but if you like it, it's good enough. All right, here's the salt. Just like that. And then I'm going to come in and sprinkle with a little bit more of that black pepper. Again, I'm going to throw just a touch more of the vinegar down. All right, let's mix them up. See how simple that is? Now we're going to park these in the fridge for about an hour while we get everything else together and get this ready to fry. And this is going to come out delicious when you're ready to fry it. This is old school, right here. This is the way my mom did it, my grandmother did it. And like I said, they never used buttermilk. All right, there you go. And how fast and how simple was that? And if you need more of a binder on here, just sprinkle a little bit more vinegar back down on the tray. And it's going to give that chicken that nice crisp taste. And that's it. All right, so let's get this back into the fridge. We're gonna cool it down because you always wanna fry chicken really cold. If you fry it room temperature, it's gonna suck in a lot of the grease, and that's why you turn out with greasy chicken. So if you don't wanna do that, make sure you get it in the fridge, cool it down. Sometimes I'll stick it in the freezer for about 10 minutes right before I fry it. This way I'm guaranteed that chicken comes out beautifully crispy and it's not soggy and sitting in grease. That's terrible. All right, so we'll meet you right back here. We're gonna get these vegetables cut up and we're gonna show you how to do a beautiful soup, a lentil soup. So stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, it's chilly outside and I don't know about you guys, but nothing goes along better with fried chicken on a nice cold night than a beautiful soup. Let's show you how to get this one done. So right off the bat, for this soup, you're gonna need a very good pot. The pot's everything. Even if you're using a cast iron pot, it's heavy, solid base to it. It's gonna hold that heat. Because if you use a thin pot and you've got gas, guess what? That soup's gonna be cold within just minutes of it sitting on the table. Something like this will retain the heat. A good pot, 30 bucks, that's it. Something heavy and something metal, and it'll definitely retain the heat on you. So for this dish, you're gonna need some lentils. We're running with lentils today. Got some bay leaves here, bacon. That's the star of our show. That's everything. That's got every ingredient you need in there. It's got the smokiness, it's got the saltiness, it's got the meatiness that's gonna make this dish right. Here's some tomatoes. First thing I'm gonna do is crush these up. And while I'm crushing these up, take a look at that mirepoix. Carrot, celery, and onion. Switch up your onion. Go with different onions. It'll give you a little different flavor. I got some red there. Got a little white. And these tomatoes. So it's not 100% tomato soup. Now that bacon's also going to supply us with a broth. And that's what you want. No stock. We're going to use the broth just from that bacon and some water and these tomatoes. And it's a very basic, simple soup, but they're the best soups. So always start with a good base and you'll never go wrong with your soup. So they call that the mirepoix for a reason. The celery, carrot, and the onion, because it works beautifully. All right, so I'm gonna meet you guys onto the stove now that we got these nice and crushed up. These are Saint-Raison tomatoes, and always use a good tomato too. If you use something cheap, it could be salty. Tomatoes, it's not gonna taste right, and it's not gonna hit your soup right either. It's gonna fall apart in the soup, and it's gonna taste horrible. So spend the money, use a good tomato, and I promise you, you'll be happy you did. All right, meet you onto the stove. All right, so we started cooking down our bacon and our onion. And by the way, that's a pound of bacon. And for the lentils, I have 1.5 pounds of lentils here. 7-quart pot. So kind of judge it out. I might not use all those lentils in there. I'm gonna judge it out and see how far this cooks down. All right, so now I'm gonna get in my carrots and my celery. And I'm gonna sweat this down a bit and bring some flavor out of it. You see, if you just dump everything in and then put the liquid in, you're not gonna bring any of the flavor out of the vegetables that are in here, so you wanna cook them out. And in order to make a vegetable stock, you gotta cook the flavor out of it. So always cook your vegetables down first, sweat them down first, before you go putting any liquid in. And just bring out the flavor, the natural flavor, and the mirepoix. So if you're wondering why your soup tastes a bit flat, it's because of that. You're not sweating down the onions, you're not sweating down the carrots, the celery. You have to get it soft and bring the flavor out of it, and then add your liquid. We'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so at this point, you can start to see all the liquid release from all these nice vegetables in here. So now, we're gonna get our lentils. Let me just see where I'm at with this. Now we're gonna let these nice lentils soak up all of that nice liquid with flavor in here. Let them absorb everything that's in here. All right. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more on the lentils, and then I'm gonna put my tomato sauce in. Now we're gonna stir this up, just like that. Now I have some hot water here, so I'm gonna put a little hot water inside my tomato jar, or inside my tomato glass. I'm just gonna rinse that out. Waste not, want not. And then we're gonna fill the rest right up to the top. Just like that. It is a soup. And you'll never go wrong with too much broth. And there it is. So now what you wanna do is just let this cook down, and you're good to go. And when this is nice and cooked down, we'll meet you back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, 45 minutes in, the soup is done. Let's take a look. All right, check this out. So now I'm just gonna shut off my heat, and look at this. So we're 45 minutes in now. If I had guests coming immediately, I could let this go for another 15 minutes because everything in it is still just a little bit firm. And what I want to do is I'm going to take it over to the table, but first we're going to give it a little sample here and see what we need. You could use just a touch more salt. Just like that. And And I'm gonna put just a little bit of black pepper in. And then everybody else can season at the table. So here's the black pepper. And now I'm just gonna take this to the table and let it sit. And this is why you want a really nice pot. If you had a cheap pot, it's gonna lose that heat and it's not gonna finish cooking. So we're just gonna let the residual heat finish the pot, and we'll meet you back here, show you the rest of the meal. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, that soup is done. It's nice and hot. Time to fry some chicken. So right here we got some all-purpose flour. It's about 3 cups. Garlic powder, onion powder, a touch of paprika. We need to season this flour. I'm gonna use a whole lot of it. See how much seasoning went into that flour? Black pepper, a bunch of it. And we're gonna put the lid on and just shake it up. Just like that. And we're gonna fry right out of this thing. So the chicken will go in here, we'll shake this up too, and then into the frying pan it goes. And speaking of frying pan, take a look at that lard. That's beautiful lard in there. That's non-hydrogenated lard. And that's what you want to fry in. I was going to fry in tallow, I changed my mind, so we're going with lard today. All right, we'll see you onto the stove. All right, we got that oil heating up in the pan. Now that's pure lard, and that pan is cast iron. You want to let that pan come to a very slow warm. So warm it up very slowly. If you put a lot of heat on there, it's going to get hot right in the center of the pan. And then when you put your chicken in, you're going to burn your chicken. You want the entire pan to be hot. So this is why you want to heat it up slowly. And while we're heating that up slowly, let's show you a beautiful rice and shrimp dish. All right, so for this dish, I'm using 2 pounds of shrimp. Those are 1620s. I got a nice cast iron pot here. Basmati rice, 2 cups. We got some onion here, so I'm gonna take some onion. I'm just gonna chop it down, pieces like that. Don't worry if they're big pieces, they'll go very nicely in the rice. So just get your onion in. And then I got some saffron here. And that saffron's gonna give a whole lot of flavor. I mean, that's the rice right here, the saffron rice. So we're gonna get that in. 4 cups of chicken stock. I'm going in with my chicken stock. Now that's a homemade chicken stock and it has a little salt in there. So I'm not gonna add any salt to this dish. Just like that, we're gonna get this going. We're gonna put this on the stove, and then we're gonna add our shrimp when this is almost done. Because if we put the shrimp in now, they'll just boil and you're gonna overcook your shrimp and they're gonna be like little rubber balls in here, so you don't wanna do that. We're gonna hit it with just a touch of olive oil, just like that. That's gonna keep your rice from sticking and just make everything fluffy and give a lot of flavor. Get onto the stove we go. All right, our oil's hot and now we're ready to fry. Now I salted that chicken, and normally I'll salt my chicken right before it goes in because I don't want to make a mistake and salt it, then I don't get to use the chicken and it's sitting in salt overnight. And that's not good. So I'll usually salt the chicken right before so it doesn't get too salty. So just drop them in, just like that. And this is how I do it. You see that? There's no binder in here. This is very old school. Get in that flour, shake off the flour, get a good tight grip on there, and just drop them in. And don't run from the grease, whatever you do. All right, we're gonna finish dropping these in, and we're gonna meet you guys back here and show you what we got, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're about 10 minutes in with this chicken. Now I just put my rice on in the back because I want to time everything. I want everything to come out right on time. Check this out. I'm using a pitchfork to turn this over. I mean, this is what we call a pitchfork. Really just a fork. But this is old school. You want to turn your chicken over with the pitchfork. There you have it. I'm just gonna look at it and see where I'm at with it. And the pieces that look like they need to be turned, just get them over. See that? You could take your fork and just turn it gently. If you try to do this with the tongs, it's not gonna work out too good for you. That much I will tell you. So just take it gently and just get them over. Let's go back over. There you have it. Just look at your pieces. You can see the color turning. You know it's time to get turned. That's a breast. So I'm putting my breast on the outside wall because I don't want them exactly center mass. So there you go. There's a thigh. I'm going to turn that over. This is only 10 minutes in, but look at the bubbles of this oil. That's how you want to fry. Gentle. Don't want a hard fry. You have a hard fry, it's not going to cook down next to the bone. You're not deep frying here. This is just like a shallow pan fry. Half of the chicken is out of the oil. It's not submerged. So just take your time. Watch the color of the chicken and gently turn it over, trying not to break your batter. There you have it. And these guys right here, they can come over too. Some of them don't look like they're frying, but believe me, they're still frying. So that's how easy you want this to go. Look at those bubbles and judge it out. We'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, our chicken is frying nice and easy. We got a little bit more time on it. And take a look at this rice. So now I can see the bottom of the rice. I'm going to take my shrimp, dump them in. Now I'm working over my chicken, which is not a very smart thing to do, but I'm doing a video and I'm showing you guys this, so got to get it done. I'm going to take it, mix it in. It's still on low simmer. I'm going to drop the lid on this and just let that shrimp, you can see it turning already, cook right into the rice. Oops, I missed 2 shrimp in there. Not letting those guys get away. All right, that's it. Put the lid on. Let it cook, almost like paella. We'll meet you right back here to pull this chicken, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to turn this chicken. Now, I'm going to look around and see what pieces need to get turned and what pieces need to get moved. So, I'm looking all right. I'm going to flip my wings over again. Actually, that one's looking pretty good, so I don't have to touch that. And this is what you do. You just want to judge out how your chicken looks. And flip them over each other, so this way you get no splash. Because I'll run a piece of chicken into another one in a second. So there you go. Because I don't want to get splashed by hot grease. So just roll them over right into the others. There you go. And try not to poke the chicken, because if you poke the chicken, it's going to release water. So what I'm doing is just grabbing the edges of it and turning it over. And if you feel unsafe, just use a tong or use a fryer. That'd be your best bet. So when I'm turning them over, I'm not poking through the chicken, I'm just poking the surface of the chicken. It's an art, it's a lost art. And most people don't do this anymore. Most people just put it into a deep fryer, or they'll go out and get it. But if you learn it, and learn it well, you'll never regret it. All right, there it is. I'm going to flip the rest of this over, and then I'm going to meet you back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm going to start pulling some of this chicken, starting with my breast. Now I am going to poke it. So let's get those onto the tray. See how they're looking? These guys are looking right. And then you can flip over the rest of everything else here, but I'm going to pull over the white meat first and the bony parts. This would be a bony part of the neck and back. It's my favorite. All right. And this wing's about had it, so we're going to pull that. And then we're going to get all the breast in. You see how you keep the breast on the outside wall? They remain very nice. Drain over the other piece of chicken, because if you drop it, you won't get splashed. And that's it. I'm just going to pull the pieces I feel fit. So all my wings are done. That's a big thigh in the back, so I'm going to let that run a little bit more. But even my legs, you could look at those. They're done. First in. And that is how you fry skillet chicken, cast iron, the old school way. I'm going to let these run just a couple of more minutes, and then I'm going to pull these too. And by the way, take a look at this rice. Is that looking fantastic? We're going to show you how to finish that off in just a second, but those shrimp aren't done yet. So we're going to pull these out, and we're going to meet you right back here. Finish off that rice, and we're on the chopping block. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, last stop on this train is our garnish for our shrimp. Doesn't that look fantastic? We're just going to give this a little stir. Just like that. Paella is a little bit similar to this. So there we go. And now we're going to garnish with just a little parsley on top. So just like that, and there it is. All right, we'll meet you onto the chopping block, so don't go anywhere. All right, and here we are on the holiday season chopping block, season 7. Fried chicken, a gorgeous soup, and some beautiful rice with shrimp and saffron. Let's show you what we got. Take a look at that gorgeous chicken. I mean, that is as old school wants to get. Pan fried, skillet fried, no buttermilk. And look at that soup. That is looking right. And check this out. Look at all those beautiful lentils in there. And that rice. The shrimp look fantastic. All right, let's get into this one. So first thing we'll do, we'll get a little rice onto the plate. See how that rice came out perfect and the shrimp came out spot on? This is what I mean by timing. You just time it right and you'll get it right all the time. And the shrimp will flavor the rice. I'm gonna put a couple more of those shrimp on top. I'm gonna steal a little bit of that garnish just to go on top of that. And there we have it. All right. What do you say we put a little fried chicken on here? I'm a drumstick and a thigh man. So I do love my drumsticks and I love my thighs. There we have it. And this soup, let's get into this one. Now this was a soup that my mom would make every year, right around the holiday time. And I'm a big lentil fan because they're light, they're healthy, and they don't fill you up like beans do. And this one's got plenty of meat. And we're just gonna get some of that broth in there. And there it is. All right. I've got the right amount of salt And I'll pepper at the table. So let's just put a little pepper on here. And there we have it. Let's give this chicken a try. If you guys have never had chicken fried in lard and skillet pan fried, you're missing out. There's no words that can really describe just how good that is and how much that brings me back to my childhood. That's what I grew up on. That's the chicken I'm used to eating. That's the chicken that my family cooked and a lot of other you guys cooked as well. So for you guys that know that recipe, you know exactly what that is. And it's a wonderful way to celebrate the holidays with fried chicken. All right, let's try that rice. Wow, the combination of the shrimp with the saffron is outstanding. You know, if you guys aren't cooking with saffron, it's a spice you really need to put in your household, because once you put that in your household, you'll wonder how you ever live without it. The shrimp are just so gentle in flavor. They flavor the rice just gently. It's not overpowering. The rice works well with the shrimp works well with the rice. You can't ask for a better dish. And that saffron just brings it right together. All right, let's get a hold of that soup. All right, I've been waiting for this all night. Lentils happen to be my favorite soup. How do you go wrong with lentils, especially with bacon in them? The lentils just take in all that flavor nicely. They take on to whatever you put in them. We've only got 45 minutes into that pot. This is why you need a decent pot. I let them sit on the table. They rested for about a half hour. And that's what you need just to get those veggies nice and soft in there. The lentils themselves are beautiful. You're gonna need a decent pot and let them finish the cooking process in the pot. You can't do it on the stove. You'll overdo it every single time. So always pull them early, let them cook in the pot, and you can't go wrong. And lentils are something that you should always have in your cupboard because they cook so quick. They make just such a beautiful soup. All right, we're gonna get organized. Meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. Some beautifully skillet fried chicken for the holidays. Southern fried in lard. You're not gonna beat this one. We parked some beautiful shrimp on the side of it. Shrimp with saffron rice. And for that chilly weather outside, we got a gorgeous lentil soup. Tomato base. Lots and lots of bacon. Now that is sure to please the crowd. Like always, we thank you guys. We always enjoy you coming. And with no further ado, gotta get that last pitmaster leg there.